Morning, welcome to Monday. John, I'll turn it over. You can get
Good
right
morning.
into it, huh?
Get right into it. We just have one for the board today. It's going to be the assessor's office. We have Emily with me up here. So for the assessor's office on revenues, for 2026, we've collected $9,223 of our $20,000 estimate. These are recording fees for open space. And we have $10 of miscellaneous. On the expense side, personnel is looking a little under at 900,000 of $2.05 million. Supplies, 5.7 of 22,750. And then services are at just shy of 95,000 of a $276,000 budget. The main item in supplies are going to be computer software for about $5,000. And then services are going to be dues and subscriptions for 5, professional contracts for 3, cell phones for 2,000, and internal services for 66,000.
Sean, on the previous page, is open space, is that just vacant land? Is that what you're referring to?
That's the exemption program for like DFL and open space and everything. So they have an application fee because we have to record something. It's just a pass-through account. We collect the recording fees and then record on their behalf. So it comes in on revenue, goes out on expense.
Okay. Your cell phone bill, what did it used to be?
So, because we've talked about this, we're budgeted at 7,000 because it was about 580 a month, I think. And the new plan that we're on is like 120. So I'm thinking we'll only need 1,400 roughly for the year instead of 7,000. So that was a huge cost savings. But again, I'm allowing IT and purchasing to review how that account's going in hopes that we can spread that across the whole county.
Yeah, that's a huge savings.
Yeah, huge. I told you guys, I'm always looking for ways to save money.
And on that front, we've given direction with staff to, as new cell phones are requested, not to put them under contract. So if we do see some changes coming, we're able to get out of those as soon as we can. In the past, most of those have been on 2-year contracts, so we're just trying to step away from that now. Anything else for the assessor's office? It was a fast one today.
Pretty easy.
So I did put in everyone's folder this morning and wanted to share and let me get this off the screen. A budget calendar for 2027, just kind of laying it out. Currently, tentative plan is to open Budget Boss on July 13th, with allowing the departments to enter requests through August 10th. From there, we'll do some internal reviews, air checking, things of that nature. Tentatively present it to the board on the 24th. And then from there through pretty much November, workshopping with departments. The first department we'd like to bring is actually non-departmental, as we think that there's a lot of savings opportunities there, and to kind of set the tone for the rest of the meetings for the year. So we do have plans for levies on November 17th, giving the board ample time before the cutoff. You know, that way if we want to table or move forward in the future to another date, we have time still. And then we have the final budget hearing scheduled tentatively for the 1st of December, with ample time to table and move forward with additional discussions through the remainder of the year. Any questions on this? Just kind of trying to lay out a timeline here for the rest of the year.
Yeah, good.
So we'll probably start sharing this with department heads and elected officials and move on from that spot.
Thanks for this.
I'm just gonna sit here until you're ready to move on to the agenda items.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. So for tomorrow, we have one item on the agenda under consent. It's calling for another public hearing for a budget amendment for August 11th during a 9:30 period of time. So as we talked about having 3 more budget amendments through the end of the year, this would be the first of the 3. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sean. Okay. Event Center.
Good morning. Kim Boca at Cowlitz County Event Center, and here today representing tourism. On the agenda tomorrow, I have a contract with the Castle Rock Motocross Park. It's their grant funding that they applied for and received in the large grant process. The grant is to put a asphalt pad out at the motocross track property. It's going to be used for an event, but then it's also going to have long-term use to host motorcycle training classes that folks put on. So
How many events do they have out there, Kim? A year, do you know?
I don't. They have quite a few, though. They have quite a few races on the weekends. It is
Wow.
utilized
I
quite a bit.
just saw their calendar too.
And they
but I
just had
can't tell
monster
you a
trucks.
number, but they're busy.
Yeah.
Not only at the track, but they built a little right next to West Side Highway where that cement place is. If you look up there, there's a little teeny asphalt oval track. And last year they had an event out there. I mean, you're talking kids it's kids in like these go-karts and they're in different classes. It was like ants on an anthill everywhere. It was crazy all over the United States. It
Yeah.
was nuts.
Yeah, I
It
was
was-
wondering, because I don't go over there very often, but every time I go out there, there's somebody out there doing something.
Yeah.
There is, and this project is exactly what this large grant was really designed for, is to have longevity, not just to support an event or events, but also to have some income generating potential for the track also. So I thought it was kind of a cool use of,
They have an event this weekend. I know that.
yes, that's what this is for, is the bike week.
Yeah.
Yep, that'll be the first time that I believe they're using it. It's being poured this week. They're paved this week. And then they'll have their motorcycle show, I believe, out there. Which is also, I mean, that is the first, hopefully the first of many of this type of event, this bike week. The organizers really excited and really just trying to think outside the box and bring people in. He's calling it a mini Sturgis, and I've never been to Sturgis. I've heard the rumors, but hopefully it's not quite as wild and crazy. But it'll be a great boon for Castle Rock and Cowlitz County. It's also STP weekend this weekend,
Yeah.
so I warned him of that. But
Yeah, holy crap.
stay up
Means
with
I
it.
can
I
get
would.
out of my driveway. Castle Rock likes them to shut down at 10, so it's.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So that's what I have tomorrow. That's it. Any
Okay.
questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public Works.
Thank you.
So good morning, Susan Eugenius, County Engineer. Public Works has several items on the agenda for this week. The first on the consent agenda is the contract execution with Construction Ahead Inc., doing business as pavement surfacing control for the 2026 countywide striping project for a total amount of $938,165.50. This was awarded on June 2nd, and it's a 2-year contract, and that's the total for the 2 years. The next item also on the consent agenda is a resolution designating an applicant representative for myself and Chris Andrews to allow us to apply for a BRIC grant, Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities. This will be a pass-through from the state for FEMA if we're successful. We're applying again for a study for the alternatives for the flooding on Westover and Lomar. Last year, we were the last application cycle, we were right below the line of who was awarded. So they actually reached out to us and encouraged us to apply again. So that is what this resolution is about.
Susan, on the Burma Road, I know we've talked to the Corps about possible funding for that. Do we know, are we going to get any reimbursement or grant opportunities for that road?
I do not believe we will be getting grant opportunities at this time. So that's the information I had handed it to you. That is the motion item for this week. We did open bids last Wednesday for the Burma Road, Tootle Park Road bypass project. We received 11 bidders, so another big bid turnout, with the low bidder being Tappaney in the amount of, I wrote it down on another piece of paper, $1,234,000, which is below the engineer's estimate. We had, the next two bidders were in the $1.3 million range. So we're feeling confident with these. We've checked through the paperwork, and so we're asking that that contract be awarded tomorrow morning, just so we can keep that moving to try and make sure we get it done before the winter sets in. And that will lead into one of our last two items. We have a public hearing for the establishment of this new route of roadway, and it is still to be named. That will be set as part of the public hearing tomorrow. We have reached out to the owners again that this impacts to see if they would like to come and give public input. Our new roadway will be coming off almost the end of Burma Road, running east-west, just south of the Weyerhaeuser property, hitting the LT1 property, curving around and tying into the existing entrance of the gun range. The end of the property, we will also be attaching those last three driveways into the entrance so that they can get out to the north. The gun range gate will be relocated. We are going to leave the central portion in gravel at this time due to the geotech's expectation of it settling anywhere from 6 inches to a foot. So we're going to pave the very entrance where it runs along the private property, and then when it reaches our property, because there's a 20 to 30 foot fill down through that ravine, and that's the section that is expected to settle. We'll leave that in gravel. And then from the entrance to the gun range itself into the existing will be paved also. But we will leave that section in gravel, and depending on how much it settles next year, decide if we're going to include it in our overlay next year or 2 years out of that center section. So any questions about Burma?
Yeah, I'm just gonna, I have a hard time swallowing the fact that the Corps is the one that built that road. And we can apply for grants for other things that flood and cause minor damages and stuff, but we have no recourse on that situation out there.
So when this originally started happening, there was an option, and it was discussed with the Corps and the board at that time, of they could potentially pay for repair of the roadway in the existing location. And it would have to go through the entire permitting process and an alternatives analysis. And if the repair in that location was going to not be the best alternative on a benefit cost ratio, they would say you have to do the other alternative, and they don't pay for things that are not in the exact same location because we're not repairing to the existing facility. So we did an analysis based on that drop and the potential permitting. The wall that we would need to build would be 2-3 times more expensive, and then the permitting would take years. And the potential wall or rock buttress, there's no guarantee that it would last. So based on that cost analysis, the decision was made to go this alternate route.
So I understand the alternate route situation, but that's gonna continue to happen on that piece of land out there. It's not gonna stop eroding. And so there's private property that people are losing. And at this point, it just falls into the same garbage can, in my personal opinion, with the Corps and everything that's going on, that it leaves us no recourse and we're at their mercy. I have a hard time with that, with the fact that is going to continue to erode and people are losing property, we're losing property, and it's just creating an issue for us. I don't know. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that, but that's a hard pill for me to swallow. That we're just gonna let that continue happening. I don't know what options we have, but I'm not okay with it and what's taken place with the Corps just washing their hands of that situation.
I think we're all not okay with a lot of things the Corps does, yeah. I don't disagree at all.
I'm still in favor of putting a whole line of rocks up there and letting them wash in the river and detour the damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I think the county could have been well within their rights to do that. But
Well, we're having the conversation tomorrow, right, with the bullet points on the river and everything going on. I think that's something that we need to bring up. It's scheduled for tomorrow? Yeah, 10 a.m. Okay. Thanks.
well, I won't be here tomorrow. So,
So the final item, if we're done on this one, is the adoption of the updating the county's code. It's a public hearing to update section 15.15.010 for the pretreatment ordinance that Turwa has adopted. This pretreatment ordinance applies to our few connections that go to the Three Rivers Regional Wastewater Authority, and it's aimed at industrial and commercial users on what are they required to meet prior to discharge to the sewer system so that the treatment plant isn't upset.
They were in quite a while ago on that. If I remember right, do we think it has some impact on us with the landfill, the stuff we send?
It will have minor impacts on the landfill, but it does not change the landfill requirements significantly. It is already a requirement that we're working on getting back in alignment because it has impacts on your total suspended solids, your biochemical oxygen demand, and your ammonia discharges. And so we are working on those anyway. Some of the other big changes they're adding will not impact us. They're looking at some of the newer facilities coming in with VOCs and things of that nature and adopting treat levels on those.
Susan, real quick, are we talking about the no parking on the right of way up Kalama River next week? Is that on the agenda next week?
No, that is not on the agenda next week. The status of that is the staff has given me a staff report. I'm in the process of reviewing that. Then we'll have to call for the public hearing once we get the engineer report. So that probably won't be, that'll probably be on the 21st agenda. And then the hearing will be August sometime. So
Thank
it
you.
has not gotten lost. It is still moving forward.
You remember, just for notes for myself, how long it's been? It's been quite a few years, and I was trying to recall how long it's been since Three Rivers updated that.
I don't have it off the top of my head, but I'll bring it with me tomorrow. It's been at least 10 years.
Say it's been a decade or so.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to compare them to, but they seem like they run a pretty good operation.
They do. They keep it pretty tight and have
Yeah.
few violations and that's their goal. And
That Turwa does a good job, plus they operate in the black, which is always good.
so, and they're looking forward to getting this project they've been working on for the past year and a half done, hopefully coming up soon so that they can not have, because they've had a few violations when this has been going on, more because they've had meters down and things like that, but it hasn't been anything substantial. It's just been more results of the construction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
That's some HR stuff.
Good morning, Jessica Warren, Human Resources. I have a couple executive sessions. One of them, Ryan was coming over and I don't see him yet, but two under collective bargaining and then potentially a performance of a public employee if Ryan makes it over.
Okay, but we can take the
Yeah, we can do the
first ones right
collective
now.
bargaining.
Collective bargaining. Time frame, do you think, Jessica?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay, we can adjourn.
Yes. Especially since we have big ones at price range. Definitely don't want to have it. Yes. So they call. Yeah. What's going to be? No. That was really cool. It's not, it's look here, look there. Beyond chat, we have priority section. Very much. Very good. Yeah, so you'll have a little there. And you might have a little. Exciting. I got power back. The second answer.
Board of Commissioners has extended the executive sessions for 5 minutes until 9:40 a.m. The Board of Commissioners has extended the executive sessions for an additional 5 minutes until 9:46 a.m.
What they said. Ryan's here.
Ryan's here.
He is here. He just walked down that way.
Okay. He's in the building.
He's in the house. Close this one.
Okay, executive session ended, no decisions rendered, but new one for potential litigation. We got a time frame. Want it? Ryan might be, do you think Ryan's would be shorter?
We gotta go through some, how many heads do we have here? Sure.
There's all three of us.
Cowlitz are just taking Ryan first.
Okay,
5 minutes.
what was 5 minutes for performance of a public employee? 5 minutes. And then we'll follow that with, can I just say it now, potential litigation? And I'm gonna say 30 minutes, Jason, when we end that one, okay? Okay.
that. I was like, oh, I can. Okay, so where's those people going? Nobody else is. Nobody else. And. Yeah. So I don't want to be part of those. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Even the pills that I feed my dog, it's funny because how fun. I feel like literally 6, and I'm pretty sure the first year is 11. I'm not really caring about fireworks. Now, 6 years old. She cares a lot. Pretty. Like bad. I don't know how bad it was. Like, you load her phone. Necessarily loud. I like a pretty fire. You know, I'll watch on my car. Yeah, I hear it. I want to hear like those things aren't even pretty. It's loud to be loud. I don't know. Not necessary.
The Board of Commissioners has extended the executive session for an additional 5 minutes until 10:28 a.m. The Board of Commissioners has extended the executive session for an additional 5 minutes until 10:35 a.m.
Okay, back from executive session, we did give permission to for our attorneys to continue the discovery practice and fact find on the tort claim. Okay, anything else? You got something else, Jessica? Okay.
Thanks, Jason.
Jessica Warren, Human Resources again. I have a request from the auditor's office to fill their lead payroll specialist with up to 6 months overlap, plus the domino effect that that might create in her office. The employee is going to be on intermittent leave throughout the rest of the year.
Okay. Okay.
And then also a request from the prosecuting attorney's office. He's requesting to reclass his legal specialist to a paralegal, step 2 at $5,127 a month. That'll be about a $223 a month salary increase. She'll be training under the other paralegals until there's a retirement.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One real quick thing, I had a request from a person that lives on, I found out where Walden Island is. It's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
in Silver Lake. And it was the one, they were talking about, no wake zone in front of the dock because they had people speeding there. So I got with Mike because I initially thought wildlife handled that, but actually we did an ordinance and we handle that. But we do have, there's already in place around the whole lake. They have a couple dock no wake zones, but around the whole lake, within 200 feet of the shore, there's a speed limit that would settle this person's complaint. It's just a matter of enforcement issue. So that'll be my communication back to him. We already have an ordinance that sets a speed limit, and it's just a matter, we need to have the enforcement of it, just in case it comes by you hear
Okay.
about it.
Cool.
I didn't even know we had control over the lakes, but evidently we do when it comes to that. Okay, anything else? We're good? Okay, we will adjourn.